In this video, I'm going to show examples on how to write a linear equation from graphs and vice versa. A linear equation can be written in different forms, but in this video, our equations will be written in the so-called slope-intercept form, and that is y equals mx plus b. Now, in this form, this letter m here, that's what you call the slope, or sometimes you call it the rate of change or the gradient. And then the b here is our y-intercept. So again, in this video, we're going to write our equations in this format, the slope-intercept form. Let's go now to example 1. So for our first example, we have this line here, the graph. So we're going to make the equation again following the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. All right. So let's focus on the graph. So your first step is to find the y-intercept. That's your p. All right, the y-intercept. Now, if you remember, y-intercept, it's when your graph touches the y-axis. This is your y here. So it's this point here. Okay, the graph touches at positive 2. That's your y-intercept. So that means your b here is equal to a positive 2. All right. So I can change this b to a positive 2. All right, that's your step number 1. All right, let's go now to step 2. Step 2 is to find the slope here. That letter m here represents the slope. We need to find the slope from this graph. And then whatever we found, that's the number that you will put in here. Okay, so the question is, how do you find the slope from this graph? Well, there's just a formula, which is m is equal to rise over run. So as you can see on top of the fraction is the rise. Rise means you either go up, which is a positive, or go down, which is a negative. Okay, and that's the number at the top. And then divide it by the run. Run means left, which is a negative, and then right, which is a positive number. Okay, so we apply that formula to find the slope from this graph. So using your y-intercept, that's one of your points, you need another point. You need to pick another point that belongs to this line. Just making sure that your chosen point must be exactly on this, where the grids intersect. Make sure that that point is exactly on the intersection of these grids. So if you look at this line, you can choose this point here, because that point is exactly on the intersection of the grids. So I can pick my second point here. Okay. So now you have 2 points, the y-intercept and another point on the line. Now, following the formula, you need to rise first. That's the number at the top. You need to rise, either go up or down. So your goal is, from your y-intercept, is to reach this point using the rise and run. So you can do this. You can do a rise first, or you can go down first, which means rise down, okay? And then just count how many units is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since it's going down 6 units, so that means this number here is negative 6. Okay? And then from there, after rising, we need to do a run to the left. So from here, I'll go run to the left. And now I have reached this second point. Okay? And then run. Remember, to the left means negative. So, and then just count 1, 2. So that means this number here is negative 2. Right, that's using the rise over run. So if we will now follow the formula, it's rise over run. So this is negative 6 over negative 2. So going back here, so your slope is negative 6 and then divided by negative 2. Okay, that's your slope here. And then just bring down your x. And then we found earlier the b is a positive 2. And then just bring down the equal here, and you have the y. Okay. And now once we have fractions, we need to simplify it. What is negative 6 divided by negative 2? That's a positive 3. And then x. And then just bring down the y-intercept plus 2, and then equals y here. So that is our equation now. Y is equal to 3x plus 2. All right, for our next example, so we have this graph here, and we will write the equation of this graph in the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So again, step 1 is to determine the y-intercept, or your b. So Remember, your B here is, it's where the graph crosses the y-axis, and it should be at this point, which is a positive 4, right? Positive 4. So your B is a positive 4. B is positive 4. Okay. Next, second step is to find the slope. Remember the formula, rise over run. Okay. So to find your slope, you already have your first point, which is the y-intercept, and then you're going to pick another point on this line. Just make sure that that point is exactly on the intersection of the grids. So I can pick this point here, okay, because it's on the intersection of the grid. So that could be your point, or you can use another point, this point here. It doesn't matter as long as it's on the line and it's exactly on the grid. Okay, you will know because the numbers here are exact numbers like -2 and 4. Okay, so I'll just pick this one here. So this will be my second point. All right, now we follow the formula for slope. Rise, we do the rise first. Again, for rise, it's either go down or up. So to reach the second point, starting from my y-intercept, it should go down first, right? Should go down first. And since it's going down, it should be a negative number. Just count the number of units. So 1, 2, 3. So since it's going down 3 units, so that must be a -3 for your rise. And then after going down 3 units, from here you go to the right to reach this second point. And that's 1, 2. 2 to the right, it means a positive 2. Okay. So now the formula is rise over run. Rise is the number at the top, so you have -3. So that's your number at the top, -3, and then divide it by the run, which is a positive 2. You need to simplify that fraction, but I think it's already simplified. So -3 over 2 is already simplified. And then now you can now write the equation. Remember the format, y is equal to, so you have to begin with y is equal to m. You begin with, you first use the m, which is -3 over 2, m. And then don't forget that letter x. Sorry, this must be, it's not a C, just make sure that you can read this. That should be a positive 2, so mx. And then your b is positive 4, so positive 4. So this is now your equation. All right, so our last example is the reverse. This time we have the equation and then we will show the graph. All right, so if you look at this equation, don't forget that this is following mx plus b. So the number here, -4/3, that is your slope, m, and then the number at here in here, positive 2, is your b. All right, so to graph, you begin by looking for the y-intercept. Okay, b, you start with a b, so you go to the y-axis and look for positive 2, and it should be here. This is y equals 2. All right. So that's your first point, your y-intercept. And then step 2 is use the slope. If you look at this slope, -4/3, you can only use negative once. So you can put it, we can put it this negative to 4. So we can have it -4 over positive 3. And then remember the top number means rise, and then the bottom number is run. Okay, so if you have -4/3, it means -4 means down, and then the bottom is positive 3 means right. So I'll go back to my graph. From my y-intercept here, I will go down, since my slope is -4/3, so I will go down -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, go down 4, and then the run is 3, which means positive 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is your second point. Okay, again, so begin with the slope, with the y-intercept, and then from the y-intercept, either you go down or up, left or right, depending on the slope. And then once you have the 2 points there, you can now connect them. Let me just erase this. You can connect them with a straight line. 2 points will make a line. So just connect them with a straight line, and that's your graph.